President and Mrs. Bush, of course, everyone is thinking about these families today and the terrible news that they have inevitably received about their children. You just met with some of the families. How was that meeting? How were you able to offer some comfort?
I cried when they wanted to cry. I hugged when they wanted to hug. We just loved them as best as we could, and that's all you can do. And these people were in shock. It wasn't but 24 hours ago that they lost a child, and now they're here trying to deal with it. And this university is going to reach out and provide all the help they can, but it's just a very difficult moment for them.
I could tell you both were shaken after spending some time with them, understandably so. What was it like for you, Mrs. Bush, to
Well,
spend
just
time?
the stories that I heard and the pictures that I saw of their children. Two families that I met lost their only child. And the idea of that for any parent is so devastating. It's hard for us to even imagine what they're going through. But I hope people, and I know people will, especially from the Virginia Tech community, but from everywhere, reach out to these families. And it'll remind all of us to reassure our own loved ones. And I know that a lot of kids in school will be afraid, especially younger children. And so I encourage parents and counselors and teachers to reassure children.
During the service today, a man behind you, President Bush, collapsed.
Yeah.
And I assumed he was grief-stricken.
He was. He and his wife had lost their only daughter. And when we walked in, they were incredibly emotional. I mean, the whole moment had come upon them again. And at one point I heard some rustling and turned around, and he had gone completely gray. And I think it was just the result of the emotion, the stress. He hadn't hydrated. And fortunately, though, it was just a temporary pass out. And then we saw him later, and spirits were somewhat revived, but nothing's going to heal his heart. I mean, he and his wife were really fine people, and just really sad.
President Bush, yesterday you said schools should be places of safety and sanctuary and learning. And last year, after that horrific shooting at that Amish school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I know that you participated in a forum to see if more could be done to prevent violence in our schools. Has anything changed? Has anything been accomplished in the last year to make our students safer?
I think so. I think there's an awareness as a result of some of these tragedies, and the Columbine tragedy, the Amish school tragedy. There's awareness for, the adults in the schools to pay attention to behavior that is unpredictable. This is just a big university. I mean, this is a place where over 20,000 kids and 12,000, I think the president told his professors, there's a lot of action. In a smaller campus, there's a lot more awareness. Here, it's just very difficult to protect from a person that became deranged.
As you well know, after events like this, discussions about gun control inevitably follow.
Sure.
I know that every year some 4.5 million firearms are sold in this country. There are over 10,000 homicides. Is it too easy, in your view, for unstable people to purchase guns in this country?
On the gun control debate, and there's inevitably going to be a debate, as there should be after an incident like this, I think now, my own view is that I haven't had time to reflect, nor do I know all the facts on what took place. I do know now's the time to help heal these hearts, and there's ample time for the debates that follow. My hope is that the country puts people in prayer. Not only those who've lost their lives, lost a loved one, but the kids here really need prayer. I mean, there's a lot of people that are deeply troubled, and you and I and Laura here just, in the immediate aftermath, and the people are going to go from shock to anger and doubt, and this country really needs to, as best as we can, help them, and then there'll be plenty of time for the politics and the debates.
Many of us, of course, think of our own children when things like this happen, and I'm just curious whether you have talked to your girls, Jenna or Barbara, about what transpired here, if you've had a chance to.
I did. I haven't talked to them since we've been here, but I talked to both of them, one last night and one this morning after, told them that we were going to be coming here today.
What did they say?
Well, they, are like every other person in the country. They're horrified and sad, and especially for them who are such recent college graduates, the idea of something like this happening at your university and the community that a university represents is especially sad and especially a violation.
It was good to hear their voices.
It was good to hear their voices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's when I hugged the guy behind me that eventually came to, and his wife, I was just thinking, I can't imagine what it's like to try to go through what they're going through. The only thing you can do is hope that they find some solace, some power that helps them be comforted in the midst of their sorrow. And the only thing I can do and Laura can do is hug them and love on them as best we can. But they'll find love. The great thing about our society is there's a lot of love, and that I truly believe out of these evil acts come some goodness. It's just hard to see it on the immediate aftermath. And I thought the service today was good. I thought it was very helpful here on the Virginia Tech campus.